Hi there, this is Glenn Phillips with Watermark Insights with another assessment tip. What I want to talk about today is not academic learning outcome assessment, but specifically administrative outcome assessment. Most institutions have a process by which they assess student learning outcomes, whether because it's mandated by accreditation, discipline level, or regional, or whether they agree that it's good practice within their own unit and they've been gathering this information for several years. Administrative unit assessment is not as common across institutions, and more accreditation agencies are asking for evidence that different colleges and universities are looking at their administrative units and assessing the degree to which they meet their goals and the degree to which those goals are reflective of the institutional mission. So if you don't know where to start, this video is going to give you a couple tips. First and foremost, it's important to recognize that academic units can also have administrative outcomes. These can be related to retention, faculty excellence, even how many applicants are coming in a given year. That said, it's for the non-academic units where many units struggle with identifying what those objectives are. If you have some administrative units that are struggling, or you're looking to launch a new administrative assessment process, my tip for you is first and foremost, look at the different slide decks or reports that unit is putting out. That will likely guide you in what's important to them and what they value and what they're trying to track. I had several units at my last institution who didn't know what I was asking for when I was asking for unit level assessment, but every single month, they put together a slide deck with key performance indicators that were linked to different goals. And it's from that I could actually build an assessment plan for them. And the only thing that we had to do was talk about what targets were and what meaningful targets were. And then secondly, we talked about what action items you're going to put in there and what you're going to do with that data. And then it was all done. For those of you who don't have units that are using slide decks or annual reporting or even monthly reporting, and this might be a bit of a wild idea, you can always turn to ChatGPT if you don't have peer institutions that you can look at and simply ask them, what are reasonable outcomes for a Department of Financial Aid or academic advising or parking or veteran services? What are the expected outcomes of this? It's not going to be perfect, but it gives you something to work with. At the end of the day, the leader of that unit should always be the final say in what these outcomes are, because they're going to be the people most or best positioned to be able to identify what outcomes are important to them. And then from that, you can ask them what data streams they have, what data are they constantly gathering, and that can build into an assessment plan. Most folks will have some level of data that they're going to be capturing on a continuous basis, whether through surveys or just tracking different things. If you can lean on the data that they already have for an assessment plan, then it doesn't make them do additional work. And it's a really nice way to easily roll out an administrative assessment plan across an institution. Now, there are lots of institutions out there that have wonderful assessment of their administrative plans. And I always encourage folks when they're at accreditation conferences or any kind of assessment conferences to just ask, what are you doing? What's your neighbor doing? What has worked well for you? Because that's where you're going to get really good ideas. And also encourage your units themselves to reach out to their peer institutions and find out what works for them. You may not have a good assessment process at your institution for financial aid, and they may be a little bit confused, but maybe 4 of the neighboring institutions do, and they can lean on them to get some additional information to kick it off. And they're already having conversations with those units, usually based on different things that are coming down regarding government policy affecting financial aid or different good practices that they're seeing in the field. So just a helpful tip. I hope that works for you. I hope you enjoy this kind of nighttime landscape, which I really like. And have a great day.